What's up guys, I am going to sharing with you the latest updates that we are hearing because economists are saying that what we are expecting on the horizon for our economy, well, it's not looking good and people are likely going to need more support than ever before. As you know, we've got a record high gas price and inflation at a 40-year high. And they are saying these gas prices are likely not going to be coming down anytime soon. Now, the Biden administration today is meeting with big oil companies to see if they can bring down those prices somehow. But we are hearing that Congress is saying that these efforts, they are not even going to do enough and they probably need to send out stimulus checks. After $6 trillion in pandemic spending, Team Biden is still complaining about a lack of pandemic funds. Democrats passed trillions in pandemic relief but continued to cry poor and they passed. They said nearly $6 trillion from all the previous stimulus packages, yet they are saying we need to do more spending because we are not done with the pandemic. There's a war with Russia and Ukraine, supply chain issues happening in China, a record high food and gas prices, and 41-year high inflation. But they are also saying, why have we not tapped into all of the unspent funds? There are nearly $100 billion just sitting there. We are hearing confirmation that it's still the case. Unspent funds color debate over additional pandemic relief of about $5.7 trillion of fiscal support the Congress has provided since early 2020. About $800 billion remains unspent or uncommitted according to reports, and they are saying these figures could lag, but we are hearing it's still about $800 billion just sitting there. So they have double that amount sitting there where they could send out $1,400 checks or $2,800 to everybody in the nation, a fourth federal level check. A lot of people are saying, President Joe Biden, it's time for you to issue that out through executive order. Repurpose, reallocate those funds, send it out and keep your promise that Bernie Sanders has been telling you to keep for over a year. Bernie Sanders wants Joe Biden, keep your promises on $2,000 stimulus checks. You can't tell the American people you are going to send it out and then not to do it. What's coming out is yesterday, how likely are stimulus checks to be used in the next recession? Well, economists weigh in stimulus checks were used at a larger scale during the pandemic or a recession than ever before, why Americans couldn't see the payments again in the next downturn, which we are hearing is likely happening right now, recession on the horizon, even though the President and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said, it's not inevitable. We are hearing it's very likely going to happen right now. And economists are saying, get ready for fourth federal level stimulus checks. We are hearing that Congress, they are ramping up for midterm elections, and Democrats that are in full control, they are likely going to want to stay in control. And it's very likely we are hearing that right before these elections, they're going to be proposing more stimulus provisions, trying to pass more packages and calling upon the president to pass executive orders and executive actions. An article just came out 2 days ago saying over the holiday weekend, multiple reports indicated that the Biden administration is considering a couple of options as a new stimulus plan to address rising gas prices. We actually saw the announcements for this yesterday, and now today we are hearing they are meeting with big oil companies. Now, according to the Washington Post, President Biden said that he could make a decision on the gas tax holiday by the end of the week, and this could reportedly save Americans about 18.4 cents per gallon at the pump. And he said, Yes, I am considering it. I hope to have a decision based on data by the end of this week. Now, the gas tax holiday would remove all taxes on the cost of gasoline. However, the president is also considering rebate cards, as known as stimulus checks or prepaid cards that would go out, which is another option to provide millions of Americans relief at the pump. That's part of what we are considering Biden added about the cards. According to another report from the Washington Post, the cards are now being reconsidered again as well. Though the gas tax holiday may be more likely, as the US chip shortage will probably make it hard to produce enough cards for everyone. So we are hearing that the cards are likely not on the table, and they are saying, well, we could send these out through direct deposit or provide paper stimulus checks for guests now. How likely is that if things get worse? How likely are stimulus checks to be used in the next recession? Economists weigh in and say very likely. The stimulus checks sent out during the pandemic were widely popular. Nearly 4 in 5 voters were in support of direct payments to American families. And we are hearing that is still accurate. About 80% of Americans say, yeah, I could use it as another stimulus check. And Democrats and Republicans are like right behind the policy, an increasingly rare sight in Washington. So overwhelming support and popularity for stimulus checks. Still, the checks were not without controversy. Among the criticisms were that there were too many rounds of payments that went out, that they should have been better targeted to financially struggling Americans, and that the cash led, at least in part, to the runaway inflation that we are currently now seeing. Nevertheless, the popularity of the payments and findings that they reduced poverty and promoted spending means that they are likely to become a tool pulled out by the government in the next recession, which may be coming very soon, and experts are saying we could be in it right now. Do not be surprised to see checks roll out, especially right before election time. I expect stimulus checks to be used again, said a macroeconomic policy consultant and former Federal Reserve economist. They worked. Now, stimulus checks aren't in the new recession tool they've been used in the past, but they were used in large in the most recent pandemic. A chart shows that over 50% of all of the checks went towards food. Also, utilities households pay in debt. A lot of these really important items were used for the stimulus checks, and the vast majority of people that got those, they really needed them and they used them right away. And checks can make an impact within days. The Economist points out that stimulus checks have a unique advantage compared with other forms of aid. For one, they get to people very quickly. Research on stimulus checks shows that people spend about half of the checks, and they do so very quickly. The bottom funds out in the recession, so it's important to plan the fall. Checks do that very well. The second and the third rounds went out within days, as we had some people get them within 24 hours that had direct deposit. No other relief program came even close. So there you have it. I will keep you updated in the next videos. Goodbye.